Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Florida.
In Miami tonight, baseball tonight, Cubs and Marlins. This will be game 2 of a 3-game set. Roof is shut, rolling windows closed. Lineups are set. JT Realmuto reporting for Dude. Ready to go. Kyle Hendricks, Ivy Leaguer, going for the Cubs. Brad Hand, second start of the season for the Fish. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. Cubs getting game 1 last night. Tommy, if the Marlins are going to turn this around, they have to start playing better at home.
Yeah, they do. It's not been a good run here at home. It's one of the things that when you're a ball club, this is where you have to play your best, where you're most comfortable. I know most of the players feel comfortable here. We got to see a turnaround.
Marlins are hoping for a turnaround from their closer, their ex-closer at least for now. Steve Cishek, after the ball game, was sent down to Double-A to iron things out, get those mechanics right.
Well, it was really a tough go for Steve Cishek. Not only with the physical aspect of it, but the mental aspect of coming in, giving up big hits, big home runs, and losing games. It's a weight that nobody really wants to carry. Option to Double-A. Dave Berg's the manager there, so he's going to play for Bergie down there. Charlie Corbell's the pitching coordinator, is going to work with him on some of those mechanical issues. Let's hope Steve Cishek is back here quickly.
And he will work multiple innings in trying to get those mechanics right. Pitching matchup in this one. Remember, the Marlins have 4 starters on the disabled list. Brad Hand, an emergency start his last time, and he pitched well in 5 innings. And Kyle Hendricks has been a nice addition to this Cubs rotation.
Yeah, Brad Hand in Pittsburgh, 5 innings, gave up just 4 hits, no runs. Hopefully he can continue on and go a little bit longer in this one tonight. Kyle Hendricks, they're both 25 years old. He's 8-3 in his career, going back to last year and this year with an ERA under 3.
On an email and Twitter Tuesday, the Marlins and the Cubs getting ready to go. More on that surprising move. And how does Steve Cishek iron things out? We'll have more when we return. Out to center field, Jeff Conine, Craig Minervini.
Well, thank you, Rich, and good evening again, everybody. The Marlins made the move. In fact, it took quite a while after the game last night. If you're watching us in the post-game show, they were talking about the move, and Steve Cishek sent down to Double-A. The reason he went Double-A rather than Triple-A is that the Triple-A team, New Orleans, out west, easier to put him in Jacksonville. We'll have a familiar catcher and some coaches he knows very well.
Yeah, Jeff Mathis is almost like a third pitching coach on the staff. He's got tremendous experience handling that staff. He's seen a lot of Steve Cishek. But with a 1-5 record and almost a 7 ERA, the Marlins decided to make a little bit of a move and try to get his mechanics right.
Well, it's a good move, I think, also for Steve Cishek. If he took a step back, I understand he accepted the news very well, because he can work out these things without having to worry and take the burden of losing a major league game for his team, which is, it had to be killing him, Jeff, knowing him, 4 blown saves and 5 losses so far.
Yeah, he was taking his performance very hard, and when the Marlins have been struggling and he's been part of that, he really took it to heart. So, like you said, going down to the minor leagues, he's really going to have a relaxed time of it, trying to get his mechanics back, and hopefully he'll be here back soon.
We talked to DJ Dan Jennings, the manager, about the move.
The way he accepted this, and he's down there. Plus, you're going to have Jeff Mathis there, who knows him, and I think that that'll be very helpful and beneficial, because Matty's caught him so much, and I think that he can learn, because Matty knows what to look for and what to expect, and he'll be a good sounding board for him.
And it will ease the pressure on Steve himself.
Absolutely, and I think that that's big. He accepted it like a pro, and he'll go down and go about it the right way, and he'll be back soon.
And the Marlins get Kendry Flores, did a great job in the minors as a starter, 9 starts for Jacksonville. Right now, Dan Jennings says he will be in a long relief role. We'll see after that. We're set for baseball. It's the Cubs and the Marlins. Middle game of this 3-game series. We'll see you on the post game. Enjoy the ball game on Fox Sports Florida. Cubs Marlins, Game 2.
Let's go places by Florida Coast Equipment, Florida's largest Kubota dealer. Visit us at FloridaCoastEQ.com. And by AutoNation, save on over 70,000 vehicles now. Visit AutoNation.com. Night falling in South Florida, Cubs and Marlins. Let's meet the Cubs. It's brought to you by JM Lexus. Dexter Fowler, the switch hitter in center. Chris Bryant in left. Anthony Rizzo at first. Junior Lake. Starlin Castro, a home run last night. Addison Russell, David Ross, Kyle Hendricks. The pitcher hits 8th, and Jonathan Herrera gets the start at third base. Brad Hand gets the start for Miami.
I think, Rich, the key for Brad Hand, just try to build on his start that he had in Pittsburgh. 5 innings, 4 hits, no runs. That was a tough game. The bullpen gave up 5 runs in the 7th inning, but Brad Hand did his part, and he just wants to continue that against the Cubs tonight.
Dexter Fowler in the box, ready to go. Brad Hand. Pinch a penny bringing you the first pitch. Sam Holbrook behind the plate. He calls strike 1 on the switch-hitting, fleet-footed Dexter Fowler.
And as we saw Brad in Pittsburgh working out of the stretch.
Misses out with a fastball. Fowler 1 for 4 last night. Cubs winners in the opener, a 5-1 win. Joe Maddon's lineup, a few tweaks. And the biggest loss, Jorge Soler, an ankle injury. Soler irritated the ankle last night. Was felt rounding first base. And so Joe Maddon has him on the bench. As Jonathan Herrera at third and moves Chris Bryant out to left. Smoked into right field. Fowler set the tone last night with a line drive hit, and he opens the game tonight with a shot into right field.
Fowler's kind of come alive. He came into the game last night 0 for 12. Take a look at the defense. Defense setting up this way. Yelich, Ozuna, Stanton. Danny Echeverria back in the lineup. Good to see Etch at shortstop with his double play partner D. Gordon. Prado and Justin Bohr at the corners, and JT Realmuto behind the plate.
So Danny Echeverria out since Friday, in tonight. Chris Bryant now with Hand tossing over to first. Bryant, who has been at third base, some say he's going to end up in the outfield for the Cubs long term. Joe Maddon, a guy that loves versatility. Anyone that watched him manage the Rays knows he likes guys that can play in a variety of spots.
That's why he loved guys like Ben Zobrist, Sean Rodriguez, who we saw in Pittsburgh.
He's got probably a deeper talent pool here in Chicago. And he's got his ball club 5 over at 27 and 22.
Got a deeper money pool, too.
1-0 pitch on the ground. Echeverria out there. Gordon's turn is in time. Bang, bang play at first. Turned nicely by D. Gordon at second.
I always like to talk about the thing that starts a double play is the pitch. A good pitch by Brad Hand to get Bryant to roll over on that ground ball. And then it's in the hands of Echeverria and D. Gordon, 6-4-3. Beautiful sight.
Well, that was bang bang at first base. So Gordon turns it. Anthony Rizzo stands in against Hand. Rizzo raised just up the road, about 45 minutes in Parkland, Florida. You see his numbers this year, and what those numbers don't show on the screen is the success he's had against left-handed pitching. He's eating lefties alive this year. 438 average, 531 on base, 656 slugging. That's quite a slash line, lefty on lefty.
Which early in his career, Rich, wasn't the case. He's gotten better each year against lefties. Because last year he hit 300 against lefties. Not too bad. His overall average against left-handers, though, even with what he's done this year, 240. So you know those early years were a struggle.
Oh, it's outside.
Ball's out to Rizzo.
With Anthony Rizzo's just 25 years old, and he has made tremendous progress.
Rizzo walks.
Hey, you saw the slash line, you talked about it. The on-base percentage now about 440.
So Rizzo arrives. Justin Bohr, the former Cub farmhand, The New England acquaintance there. And here is Junior Lake. It was Soler who was in the cleanup spot last night. Lake in there tonight. Rizzo will steal a bag if you turn your attention away from him. He's not running on a fastball, taking ball one.
You know, with Anthony Rizzo drawing that walk, you look at the list most times on base in the National League. You got Goldschmidt, Bryce Harper, Rizzo's third, D. Gordon's fourth.
One of the most impressive things about this Cubs offense, for a young team, they are a very patient team, and they see a lot of pitches, which you normally don't see with a young ball club. Normally you equate aggressiveness with youth. Off the end of the bat, and Hand will pounce on it and get the out. Uneventful first for Brad Hand. Miami and Chicago underway. In Miami tonight, Marlins and Cubs. Miami's lineup brought to you by JM Lexus. D. Gordon, leading hitter in baseball at 370. Martin Prado, third in the National League in singles. Giancarlo Stanton in right. Justin Bour in the cleanup spot. Marcelo Ozuna slotted fifth. Christian Yelich hit sixth. JT Realmuto, the catcher. Danny Echeverria back in the lineup at an even 300. And Brad Hand hits ninth.
They have a couple of 25-year-olds making their first appearance against the other team. First appearance for Hendricks against the Marlins. He's had a nice year, a lot of no decisions. And he was terrific with the Cubs last year when he was called up from AAA.
D. Gordon was 0 for 4 last night. You see his slash line at 397 on base, 370 batting average. Sprays a ground ball to short. Castro around it and just gets it.
I'll tell you what, the little extra tap of the glove from Castro almost cost him.
That was close. The Marlins are going to look at this and they'll see the ball was in the back of the glove clearly before the foot hit the bag. So an out, and here comes Prado. Martin Prado, a couple hits last night, including his 9th double. And that was coming off a 5-hit weekend in New York. Hendricks throws a strike. Dartmouth, Southern California kid, San Juan Capistrano.
Found his way to Dartmouth.
Addison Russell handles the Prado ground ball. And Hendricks, a couple of ground ball outs.
Let's check in on that Cubs defense tonight. Chris Bryant moves out to left field. Dexter Fowler in center. Junior Lake, the right fielder. Jonathan Herrera, Starlin Castro, Addison Russell, Anthony Rizzo around the infield, and David Ross behind the plate.
Now Stanton. And Hendricks misses outside. It's been a really interesting year for Stanton. You see the power numbers, the 15 homers. Slugging is just over 500. What Stanton would like to change are the strikeouts right now. Last 15 games, he's punched out 20 times. When he gets hits, though, they more than likely have been home runs lately over the last 2 weeks.
Well, we talked about it in the month of May. Giancarlo had 20 hits, 9 were home runs.
7 of his last 12 hits, home runs.
It's a different matchup. Hendricks works differently than Jason Hamill, who they saw last night. Hamill had that put-away slider. Hendricks more of a curveball, not overpowering. He's trying to live outside. You notice everything he's thrown to Giancarlo in this at-bat.
That one catches the corner. The count is 3-2. The bat hasn't left Stanton's shoulder. Fouls that one back.
So when you compare the two pitchers the Marlins facing here back-to-back nights, Hendricks has the breaking ball, but it's not the nasty slider that Hamill had last night.
Hamill was nasty. A career high 11 strikeouts for the Cubs last night. Another 3-2. Another foul ball straight back.
He also will use a changeup. Hendricks will. He'll throw it to righties and lefties. And it has a little movement to it.
Jason Hamill, winner of game 1. Pitch down low. Stanton walks. And for Stanton, a good sign. Did not offer at that 3-2. An 8-pitch walk. And here comes Justin Bour.
I think there are two things that you and I look for in Stanton. It tells you he's going to start coming out of it. Some base hits into right center and maybe drawing some more walks.
Stanton used his legs last night to create a run. Moving up on a wild pitch, stealing third, and scoring on a throwing error.
By the way, you know what a lot of people won't believe? Both Stanton and Rizzo 25 years old.
Bour takes a strike. Justin Bour, snatched from the Cubs organization in the minor league Rule 5. The bidding price there is a little less than the $50,000 Major League Rule 5. It's $12,500.
Well, it's inside.
And Bour a year in AAA for the Fish, and an outstanding start to his season this year. Supplanting Michael Morse, at least for the time being, at first base.
You know, in talking to Dan Jennings about Bour last night, his 3 strikeouts, he kind of agreed with us, probably trying to do a little too much against the former organization he was with that really never gave him that chance.
Well, the biggest difference,
There's that changeup.
from 15 to 14 for Justin Bour is his ability to, maybe his desire to, drive the ball to left and drive it to center. There's Andy Barquette, whose recommendation to the Marlins organization led to them selecting him in the minor league Rule 5. Barquette, then the manager at AA Jacksonville, had seen enough of Bour pound his pitching, and when he saw him on the list as available in the minor league phase, picked up the phone, called the organization, and said, "Get this guy." 2-2 coming.
Well, it's inside.
Good take on a pretty close pitch with 2 strikes.
Oh, that'll start Stanton. Pitch number 5. Just off the black. Stanton will be moving. And Bour swings and misses. Another changeup and a beauty. And the Marlins are done in the first, scoreless in Miami.
vía SAP por West Kendall Toyota.
Starlin Castro's in the box. Marlins Park. Cubs, Marlins. Game 2, 3-game set. Brad Hand, a fastball for a strike. Castro, a long home run and an even longer home run trot last night.
I think some had a stopwatch on it.
Homered in the 8th. Some had him up close to 30 seconds. Just probably a tad slow for the purists around the game, or the baseball police, if you will. Addison Russell, David Ross to follow against Brad Hand. For Miami, they have bigger issues than Starlin Castro. The Fish are 12 under at 20 and 32. They have dropped 10 of their last 12 in this building. Back to the mound. And Hand gets the out at first. All-Star voting. You can vote for your favorite Marlins: Dee Gordon, Giancarlo Stanton, and Danny Echeverria. The 2015 Esurance All-Star Game ballot is out. You can vote 35 times per email address at marlins.com on your computer, tablet, smartphone, or even your Apple Watch. 2015 All-Star Game voting at marlins.com. Addison Russell takes down low. Addison Russell, a Florida native, Pensacola.
How about a comeback? How about 3 in a row back to Brad Hand? He's handling his position very well.
Second week of All-Star ballot announcements, and the latest announcement has a pair of Marlins in the starting lineup. Giancarlo Stanton right now is third in the outfield. That puts him in the outfield. Dee Gordon right now still leading at second base. Everything holding from last week. Buster Posey, though, now the leader behind the plates.
They certainly want those two guys to start that All-Star game. That'd be just tremendous.
Well, Brad Hand in a nice groove. Here's David Ross, whom the Marlins have seen an awful lot of. A longtime backup catcher with the Atlanta Braves. It's a nice run in Boston. World Championship there.
You know, because of his run in Boston and his relationship with John Lester, he's moved over to the Cubs with Lester. He's caught Lester every outing, so he'll be in there tomorrow as well. And it'll be the first time this year for Ross that he's caught back-to-back games. They're trying to give Montero a little bit of a breather.
Ross showing his versatility this year. Behind the plate and on the mound. 3-0 pitch is a strike. He's known as a you know, in baseball parlance, he's a very good player.
Good player.
And a guy that you love having on your team. But the fact that he took the mound and gave the Cubs an inning was nice.
A 1-2-3 inning in Milwaukee.
Count full, 3-2. 2 outs in the second. Emails and tweets. It's on the menu, in the queue. And so we'll get that rolling here when time permits. David Ross, left field, well hit. Yelich back, looks up. It's off the base of the wall. Ross on his way to second. And David Ross has got himself a 2-out double. His bat has yet to get going this year, but his 5th double.
Well, you got a nice pitch to hit right out over the middle of the plate. You can see Yelich, as soon as he turns right there, he knows he's just going to try to play the carom off there, which doesn't always go the same way because there's fencing there. It's not like a flat surface, so the fencing sometimes can create some difficult caroms.
Kyle Hendricks Cubs starter is in the 8th spot, and he's up now. Takes a fastball down low. See the numbers for Hendricks. Marlins have the opportunity in the next 6 days to face Kyle Hendricks and Kyle Kendrick.
Probably see him over the weekend in Denver. Looks like Saturday, perhaps. So you hope that the different uniform and surroundings will change his success against the Marlins.
Marlins, for whatever reason, had a hard time with Kyle Kendrick as a Philly. Kyle Hendricks as a Cub takes down low, and it's 2-1. Original draft pick of the Texas Rangers came to the Cubs in the Ryan Dempster trade, July of 2012. Over the mound, Gordon backhands, and a nice play to get the out at first. 2 scoreless innings for Brad Hand. Will throw out the ceremonial first tweet and email in a scoreless game.
Back to Marlins Park, where we are scoreless in the 2nd inning. It is an email and a Twitter Tuesday, and we have a very special hashtag for you tonight. Tonight, it is all about rewriting the future. It is a nod to the Back to the Future trilogy, which predicted that the Cubs would sweep a Miami team in the 2015 World Series. Well, we don't want to see a sweep in the World Series, and we don't want to see a sweep in this homestand. So it is all about rewriting the future. So when you're sending in those tweets and emails tonight to @FoxMarlins, the emails can go to foxmarlins@gmail.com. Be sure to use that special hashtag. So, Rich, Tommy, it is all about avoiding the sweep.
Well, the Marlins would like to win the series. There's a look at the Back to the Future shirt. Great logo.
Yeah.
That was Marty McFly.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out who's Biff and who's Marty McFly up here.
Here's Marcelo Zuna. If you go back to the Future, it was 1985. Doc Brown and Marty were talking about the World Series. Doc Brown wanted to know the winner of the...
There's Doc.
Yeah.
Looks like Doc there.
Flux capacitor. He had to check that at the door. But as it turned out, the headline in the Gray's Sports Almanac said the Cubs would sweep in 5. Apparently in the future, they played the best of 9 like they did long, long ago. Ozuna takes down low, and it was against a Miami team, and at that time, no one had even thought of baseball in Miami. Lo and behold, it's the Marlins. Marlins were actually the American League champs in that almanac. David Ross pounces and can't hold it, and Ozuna hustles down to first.
That might be a base hit. I think that might be a base hit. Tough play for the veteran David Ross. He's going to have to pick this clean, spin, and make a perfect throw. And we'll wait and see how it's scored, but I believe a base hit. And if it is, you certainly love those kind if you're Marcell Ozuna. Actually, you love them if you're any hitter.
So a base hit, infield hit. Here's Christian Yelich. Yelich has hit in 9 straight. Ozuna's running. First pitch, little dribbler. And Anthony Rizzo steps on the bag. The Marlins putting the game in motion. And Ozuna now at second base for JT Realmuto.
Takes a peek. Hit and run was in order. You know, one of the things you're taught in a hit and run situation, first and foremost, try to make contact. Christian Yelich did that. Obviously, if you make contact and find a hole, it's even better. But he made contact. He protected the runner. Marlins get a man in scoring position.
Now Realmuto. 0 for 4 last night. Young catcher out of Oklahoma. Off the glove of Hendricks. Russell gets the out at first, and Ozuna ends up at third base. Russell was shaded over the middle to begin with, and once Hendrick deflected it, he was able to get the out. Here's Adeiny Echeverria. Marlins missed Echeverria in the 4 games that he was out. He's been one of the more consistent hitters for Miami. And amazingly, almost all of his work, his best work, has been in the 8 spot, which is a tough place to hit in the National League.
And he has done some very good work. It's that left shoulder, a little on top of the shoulder into the neck area that was bothering him after that collision with Christian Yelich in New York.
It's a strike. Hendricks with first base open and Brad Hand on deck. Can't be careful here. But he's made 2 real nice pitches for strikes in the at-bat. Echeverria to right. He hits it well. Lakewood shallow. Goes back and won't get it. And it bounces up into the seats. Miami has a run, and Echeverria continues to have a nice start to 2015.
Great to see Edge just jump back in there after missing 3 games. What a terrific swing. Drives the ball, and with Lake playing shallow, he had no shot at making this catch. So hitting in that number 8 spot is not easy. Echeverria now in a career of about 40 at bats has hit over 340 against the Cubs. So he's always hit them pretty well.
Brad Hand now. Hutt, you've got to throw out the ceremonial first tweet. What you got?
Well, I have a Richard just letting us know his 50th birthday. He's going to come to the game in Toronto.
That was a brief tweet right there. That's good. It's good.
We'll see in Canada, Richard.
Fit right in. Bryant makes the catch. Hand flies out, and Miami has a lead. Tonight's AT&T Rewind is brought to you by AT&T Uverse. There's more live TV channels on the go than cable. Last night, the young, aggressive Cubs had a field day. Anthony Rizzo, Jorge Soler, RBIs for that pair. How about Addison Russell? Addison Russell, the third youngest player in Major League Baseball.
There's no question, Rich, that this ball club, the Cubs, the way they're constructing it, putting it together, with all the youth and with the talent they have, get some pitching there, anchored by guys like Rizzo, Chris Bryant, who's up this year, with some good young talent, no question about it.
Starlin Castro also had an RBI last night. He's only 25, and for Joe Madden and the Cubs, that's the way it's gone. It's the young guns that have been driving this offense. The last time the Cubs had 5 players 25 years or younger drive in a run in the same game, you may have played against that team, 1974.
Yeah. We have to check that roster back then to see who those guys were.
Jonathan Herrera. A lot of ground balls up the middle, if not to Hand, out to D. Gordon, and Gordon gets the out. Well, here are the guys, Tommy. See if you recognize this walk down memory lane.
All right, I'll see if I can give you a scouting report on
Cubland. Andre Thornton.
Andre Thornton, big right-handed hitter. Yeah.
Jim Tyrone.
Jim Tyrone, a righty. Don't remember a lot about him.
Rob Sperring.
Boy. That's a good one.
Jerry Morales.
Jerry Morales, a terrific player.
Ron Dunn.
A couple guys that might not have been there a long time.
Of September call-ups, a few, I think. September 14th, 1974. Top of the order, Dexter Fowler. Singled back in the first. Fowler, a former Colorado Rocky, an Astro for a year.
Just so we're on our toes, Alessa is watching 5 hours ahead in the UK.
So the Back to the Future theme works with her, right? Since it is the future in the UK. Emails and tweets, a lot of emails about Jose Fernandez.
Yeah, you know the key about Jose, we talked about his outing in extended spring yesterday. He feels great today. Today is an important day to see how he feels the next day, and all the reports were very good.
He will start again on Saturday and then have another start 6 days after that and be evaluated at that point for soreness, either in the lat or in any area that he might have, and so far no soreness reported.
Now we do get, when we have email Twitter Tuesday, we do get corrections every once in a while. It was not the Sports Almanac that showed the Cubs as winners of the 2015 World Series. It was a 3D advertising billboard. Tracy letting us know that.
Diving stop, Gordon on his feet and not in time. Dexter Fowler is a fast man, and he beats the throw.
Boy, D. Gordon has flashed the leather tonight. As he tries to get up, he has to turn, get a good grip on the ball, something on the throw. Dexter Fowler with good speed. A lot of other runners D. Gordon throws out. But I think Fowler may have beaten it. But what a great effort by Gordon.
In real time, to show you how fast this play moves. I mean, Fowler is a blur across the screen. Back of the glove. That's really close.
Closer than I thought.
And the Marlins video room has yet to decide. Mike Goff, the bench coach, this early in the game. Dan Jennings being told by home plate umpire Sam Holbrook, got to get going here. And the Marlins will not challenge.
Well, we have talked about this infield defense all year. Echeverria with just 3 errors, tremendous range. D. Gordon has just 2, and you've seen the range on display already tonight. To compare that, Starlin Castro's made 12 errors himself.
That's probably a case where this early in the game, if you're not sure, you don't challenge. You don't want to lose that challenge. Of course, you've got Bryant, Rizzo coming up, and you've got speed at first. We saw the Mets this weekend lose a first-inning challenge. Actually, we've seen the Mets 3 times this year lose a first-inning challenge and not have that challenge the rest of the way.
Yeah, Fowler leads the Cubs with 11 stolen bases.
A throw to first, so Chris Bryant, second time through for the Cubs. Bounced into a double play back in the first.
You would expect in his future that Chris Bryant won't always be a number 2 hitter. Remember, he hit cleanup when he first joined Chicago.
Another look at this play from a different angle. It's hard because Bohr's foot kind of shields Fowler's foot in that view.
From that look, you kind of get the feeling that it would not have been overturned, that the call would stand.
Counts 0-1. Bryant to right, hits it well. Stanton back at the track. Makes the catch. Fowler tags. He's headed to second. Now he stops. Echeverria. Well, I thought about throwing. Fowler was a good distance away from first before he put on the brakes.
If you're a runner and you have some speed, you can do that because you go back and tag up and then you see the throw coming in. He knows that Giancarlo has a strong arm. And then you just kind of judge it as you head toward second. Is the throw on line? Is it on time?
Now Fowler right now is jawing a little in friendly terms with Echeverria, who's kind of kicking himself that when he spun he wasn't ready to throw. He was just kind of faking it. But when Echeverria turned around, Fowler was still a good distance from first base.
By the way, that ball that Bryant hit has a good chance to be in the right field bleachers at Wrigley Field.
And in watching it again, Justin Bohr was not in a position to receive a throw either. So a long fly ball out from Bryant. Here's Rizzo now, who walked back in the first. Brandon Hyde, former bench coach for the Marlins, first base coach for the Cubs. We'll see if maybe Fowler gives it a go against Brad Hand. You got Rizzo, so good against lefties this year. One and one.
One of the adjustments, a couple of it that Rizzo has made that has really helped him against lefties. He's moved up on the plate, and he'll also go up on the bat a little bit. So he covers a lot of strike zone with where he stands.
Rizzo cranks it over Bohr into the corner, and Fowler's off to the races. Standing to the corner. Here comes Fowler around third, and he's going to score. And that's where that close play at first base.
Look at, he's down on one knee to get that breaking ball from Brad Hand. There's a great example of the improvement Anthony Rizzo's made, especially against left-handed pitching. Once this ball gets in the corner, Fowler was off to the races.
And that bang-bang play at first base, in which Miami didn't challenge, keeps the Cubs in the inning and keeps Fowler on base. That's a 1-1 game, tied by an Anthony Rizzo RBI double. Here's Junior Lake.
Well, the bottom line, all in all, not a bad pitch from Brad Hand. Just a terrific swing by Rizzo.
That one sneaks by Bohr, and the Cubs have another run. Junior Lake with a double.
Well, Lake, who has not started a lot, he was recalled in the middle of May. He was in AAA, gets the call because of that ankle injury to Soler. Don't see him hit too many balls that way. He just reached out and got it by Bohr.
And so Castro now, hands, once he got Chris Bryant, hit 2 outs, Fowler at first. But Rizzo and Lake have doubled. Starlin Castro bounced back to the mound. You talk about Soler's sore ankle, the severity of which is yet to be determined. Soler saw a doctor before the game tonight. Joe Maddon said it could be a day, it could be day to day, or it could be longer than that.
Thought the interesting thing Maddon did was just straight up put Lake in the cleanup spot. Not really known to be a cleanup hitter. But Joe Maddon just, okay, Soler out, Lake in, put him straight up, hit him number 4.
The biggest adjustment to the lineup in terms of order was sliding Addison and Russell up to the 6th spot. Two-0 pitch misses. It's 3-0.
I have a tweet from Clement Hernandez. Rich and Tommy, quick question. Was there a corresponding move to replace the hole left by Michael Morse? Well, at that time, the hole was in the bullpen. So the Marlins right now are playing with 4 guys on the bench. As Michael Morse is close to swinging a bat, and hopefully, if all goes well with that injured finger, can get back in the lineup in a week or so.
Here's how you can find us on email, Twitter, and Instagram, as Chuck Hernandez is on his way out. And Jose Fernandez seems to be topic A in both the tweets and the emails in terms of his timeline coming back. As we noted, the Marlins will reevaluate after 2 more starts down in the minor leagues. And it sounds like if everything falls in place and there are no setbacks, late June, early July.
The other part of that, much sooner, I talked to Jared Kozart tonight, who also pitched in that extended game that Jose pitched in. They opposed each other. Kozart went 4 innings. He hopes to have 1 more start over the weekend, and if all goes well there, then would be able to return and get back in the rotation.
Yeah, Jose staying in single A. Well, he's advancing to high A.
He'll go to the Florida State League, yeah. He'll pitch for Brian Schneider, who manages the Jupiter Ball Club.
Kozart advances up to AAA New Orleans. Addison Russell now goes after the first pitch. It's a fly ball, right field line. Stanton over there, and he makes the catch. But the Cubs strike for 2 with 2 outs to take the lead 2-1.
combo back. Danny Echeverria and D. Gordon. Certainly Donovan Solano did a great job filling in for Etch, but you already saw the impact Etch has had. And when you combine these two, you'll find that they're among the best in all of Major League Baseball. When you look at some of the key numbers for second baseman and shortstop combined, average, obviously D. Gordon's held the bulk of that, but Etch is in over 300. That 338 clip hits their number one among, this is Major League Baseball too, not just the National League. Runs their fourth, stolen bases first, and errors, only 5 errors this year. That's tied for 7. The top duo is at 3 in Major League Baseball. Guys?
All right, thank you, Craig. And it's D. Gordon, Martin Prado, and Giancarlo Stanton, second time through against Kyle Hendricks, who now has a 1-run lead to work with in the bottom of the third.
Get over! Get over!
Gordon pulls a ground ball. Rizzo, very good around the bag, beats him to it. And there's one out.
That's good numbers, good report by Craig, because you love to get the word out on Danny Echeverria, because I really think sometimes he gets overlooked as far as shortstops, not only in the major leagues, but when you're talking about the National League.
Martin Prado now with Stanton behind him. Marlins got their run on an Echeverria RBI double. That was with 2 outs in the second. One and 0 to Prado. One of the emails we have is about pine tar, Tommy Huck. And Prado is probably, for the Marlins, the poster child for all things pine tar. It's from Zach. It seems like pine tar's gotten out of hand. And I've seen it above the label on the bat. What's the rule? Are they going to get it under control? It's all over jerseys. It's on helmets. Sometimes you can't even see a team's logo. Into center field. Prado, pine tar and all, has a base hit to center field.
I agree with the one that you can't see the logo. Hey, we want to show you a little bit. We've talked about it the last week or so with Giancarlo, and then we'll make a comparison his first AB. Charlie Morton got him to chase that slider off the plate. Juris Familia. Keep in mind, these are tough pitchers. Last night, he just committed to that pitch. But earlier tonight, he drew a walk. He was able to stay off that pitch. But part of that is that Hendricks, we told you, doesn't have that nasty slider. He's more of a curveball and then uses the changeup.
There's your hot zone. And you see low and away. If it's away and up, he's punished the pitch. Tommy, is it mechanical? Is it psychological? Is he trying to do too much?
A little bit of everything. A little bit of everything.
Counts 0-2. Prado at first. And a swing and a miss. So Stanton goes down on strikes.
I remember as a kid getting the Ted Williams book, and they had a chart like the one we just showed. Ted Williams couldn't hit that pitch either, but he had he had about 220 on that, but he had such a great eye, and that's when we see Stanton at his best. He lays off that pitch, the other pitches more in his zone, he drives them hard somewhere.
Now Justin Bohr, along the pine tar trail, has got plenty of it on his helmet. But one big difference, he doesn't wear batting gloves. And hitters will put pine tar on their helmet so that if they need some on their glove, they'll just go up and get it from there. Not sure what happened there. The home plate umpire, Sam Holbrook, came out. And I don't know if he was talking to Bohr or if something came from the Cubs bench. Bohr actually turned over and looked towards the Cubs bench. I don't know if he was out of the box or if Holbrook wanted him off the line. He does lean out over the plate, much like an Anthony Rizzo does.
Yeah. He saw a good curveball. Remember, in the first inning, he struck out on that Hendricks changeup.
If you use pine tar and you don't use batting gloves, you better have tough hands.
Yeah, they got to be tough.
Because that can tear the skin right off of them if they're not worn and calloused. Apologies to Harry.
And all you have to do is shake hands with Justin Bour, and you know he has tough hands.
That is Bour's lead pipe that he likes on the on-deck circle. 2-2. And it's out. This has been a rough ride for Bour. A hot hitter coming in. The Cubs have handled him. He is 0 for 4, and all 4 have been strikeouts.
With the count 3-2, Hendricks has good command of his changeup. See if he throws his changeup 3-2.
Prado will be on the move from first. Got him. An 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts is Bour in the series. And it's 2-1 Cubs. Tomorrow night, series concludes. Kids eat free on Wednesday. 7:10 start. Every child 12 and under get a free KM Beef Frank bag of Frito-Lay chips, Pepsi or Aquafina water. First wind down Wednesday of the season, presented by Barefoot Wines. Marlins.com for tickets. The Major League Baseball draft is coming up. Marlins Vice President of Scouting joins us now in the booth. Stan Meek, are you ready for the draft? It starts on the 8th, right?
Yeah, it does. Starts on the 8th and goes to the 10th. So we got a lot of work in front of us, and we just got started the last couple of days. So we're excited about it.
Pick number 12, is that the first pick for the Marlins?
Yes, we have 12, and then we go 50. So 12 in the first round, and then 50. There's some sandwich picks after the first round, and then we go pick 50, which is 12th in the second round.
And you guys will be up in Secaucus, MLB Network, and Studio 42, right? In the big,
yeah,
in Harold Reynolds' little playground there. You guys get to hang out for the draft.
Well, actually, we do it from here, and then we have a couple of guys that go up. I think Hawk's going to go up, and Tony Perez is going to go up to call out our picks.
Oh, Andre Dawson and Tony Perez?
Yeah. So they're going to go up, and we're going to be here.
That's a nice touch.
Yeah, I think they've done that a real nice job of that with Major League Baseball. And, they all have some guys that have played and some famous guys doing it. It's what's a neat deal.
What would you say is the strength of this year's draft? Is there a certain position?
Well, not. I think really there's some college shortstops, which are very seldom do you see a lot of shortstops. But I think you're going to see a couple of them go up there pretty good. And normally that doesn't happen. And there's some other college shortstops that go into the draft a little bit. So I think really it's kind of unique in that regard.
How does the whole thing play out? Obviously, if you pick 12, you'll have some guys ahead of 12 that you certainly have thought of that might be gone. So how do you put all that together?
Well, we kind of put a list together in the first round and how we would take them, and then we know there's probably, with picking 12, there's probably 6 or 7 guys that are definitely going to be gone. So we just tried to, look at it and see how it's going to, how it's going to go from there. And then probably the last, there's 5 or 6 guys that we think will have a chance to fit, and you just really have to be ready to have them in order. So when the time comes, you pick them.
How have the last couple of drafts gone for you and for the organization?
Well, I think we like who we've gotten. We've tried to stay athletic. We've tried to stay young. You'd rather have a college guy if he fits his ability as much as a high school guy. We've taken a lot of high school guys. Jeffrey and Mike Hill have let us do that, which is they're a little further away, but you've got a lot of upside there. So we've tried to stay athletic. I think we have.
Brad Hand sets himself, fires a bullet, and gets Kyle Hendricks.
There's an athletic play there by Brad Hand.
Yeah, Brad was he was a second-round pick out of Chaska, Minnesota. So high school kid out of Minnesota. So took him a little while, but he's starting to kind of feel his way along, get there, and do some good things. So he was a pretty good hitter, too, in high school.
Played some hockey, too.
He was a hockey player. JT Realmuto was a great quarterback in high school in Oklahoma. 2 sports stars. Giancarlo Stanton played 3. How does that play into you as a scouting director?
Well, the athletes can make adjustments, so we like to have athletes. They can adjust, on the fly. They can do more things. Pitchers who can field their position athletically, adjust their delivery. So we try to stay with athletes all the way through, whether it's pitchers or players, and that's gone well for us doing that.
Tell us about JT. When you drafted him, did you have your sights set on him as a catcher? Because he wasn't a catcher when you drafted him.
Yes, we actually did, as a matter of fact.
Stanton almost overran.
Athletic move.
That's a good play. There's the athlete, right? There you go again. Yeah, we try to take those athletes, and we'll get back to JT, I guess, when we come back to the next inning.
Stick around. You're getting something. It's your first segment. You're
Yeah,
already throwing the break. I like it. 2-1 Cubs. Marlins baseball on Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Checkers. Get Checkers authentic Philly cheesesteak. Try the new meatball sub. Pick yours. And by Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Price, service, selection. You're gonna love us. In Miami tonight, the Cubs have a 2-1 lead over the Marlins. Bottom of the 4th. We're talking drafts. Major League Baseball draft on the 8th of June coming up. It'll be televised on MLB Network. Stan Meek, Vice President of Scouting for the Miami Marlins, joins us now as the fish bring Marcell Ozuna to the plate. Takes the ball. All right, what did you see in Marcell Ozuna that made you think this guy could play in the big leagues?
Well, he was an international guy, so he was. Our other guy took care of him. He didn't come through the amateur side in the States. So when we saw him in the minor leagues, he had power. He was an athlete, big and strong, and he did the ball a long way. He's kind of cut down the strike zone a little bit, which has helped him to get to the big leagues. But really good athlete, who could run and had power.
Now we'll get back to the JT Real Muto story.
Yeah, JT we saw actually the only time he caught in high school. We happened to be there that day because the catcher was going to pitch. He was a shortstop, and so the coach said he's the only guy that can handle the pitcher. So he got back there and happened to see him do some things and liked his athleticism. And was a little bit fish out of water, a little bit back there, but we liked the athlete. He did some things we liked, and so we thought he could make the transition.
Real Muto on deck. Christian Yelich in the box.
It's not an exact science. You'd be the first to admit that. But where do you kind of go to when you see a young player? Obviously, you see a Yelich. When you saw him, everybody knew he could hit.
Yeah, he's always been able to hit. It was a swing you liked. It was really, he had a really good eye at the plate. He's always had, really good patience at the plate. The swing was great. We didn't quite know where he was going to play. If you would have told me he was going to be a Gold Glove left fielder, I'm not sure I would have bought that at the time. But he's really improved defensively, and we always liked the bat. So, he's a guy that we've always liked.
Kyle Hendricks right now is on a nice run. He has struck out 4 consecutive. He got Stanton, he got Bohr, now Ozuna and Yelich to open up the 4th. And here is JT Real Muto. How many players do you privately as an organization work out?
Well, we had a workout right prior to the draft, and we probably had 60 or 70 kids in here, I would think. And then we do a couple of other workouts, one in Atlanta, usually one in Texas. So we probably see 100 kids or so doing that, or maybe even a few more. And it gives us a little bit of a feel for those guys going into the draft.
Well, right now, Kyle Hendricks has got a great feel for this one. The Dartmouth right-hander. How many times have you been on Dartmouth's campus scouting?
One time that I can remember is a while back, and the problem is I can't tell you I was there scouting. But
maybe an Ed Lucas or a Brad Ausmus.
I don't think either of those names. I don't think it was either one of those guys. But I did see. I might have been an opposition club that I saw somebody on that club. But it's you've got to be going there. You just don't run into Dartmouth's campus.
You go back a ways. You have Pete Broberg and Mike Remlinger.
Yes, I tell you, the Northeast is a really good area, man, for players. And they're a little bit hidden sometimes, but there's good ones. Always been good ones up there.
I've always thought, especially a lot of pitchers come out of the Northeast. Maybe they don't throw as much as a pitcher comes out of Texas or Southern California or Florida.
Right, they're a little behind, but just in terms of what you see as far as their development, they're a little behind, but they can catch up pretty quick, and they're usually big, strong kids.
Base hit to left for JT Real Muto.
Jump on that high pitch. Don't waste any time. How about the youngster the Marlins picked last year, #1, Tyler Kolek, big right hand?
Yeah, Kolek's doing what he's always done, is throw hard. That's a given any day. Some good days, some bad. He's still trying to figure out his delivery. He came from a place where there was like one blinking light in the town, so the competition's a little higher, a little stronger than he's ever faced. So he's having some good days and some tough days, but he's competing every day, and that's what we want.
Danny Echeverria knocked in Miami's only run, a double with 2 outs back in the 2nd. Kyle Hendricks looking for win #2. A lot of no decisions for this Southern California native. Any travels for you before the draft? You got anywhere to go? People to see?
No, we're good. We may have a guy or two come in, swing the bat for us a little bit, or throw. We have a couple of guys maybe strolling through, but I'm here for the duration. Try to get this thing done and try to pick some good players.
Well, the Marlins head to Denver, so we'll have to watch it on television.
Yeah, well, it's a great event. I think they've really done a good job. MLB's done a great job with the TV part of it. I think they've really made it a big deal, and I know it's for the kids that are drafted. It's a great thing, and they've made it a big thing. So we like that.
Starlin Castro in shallow left makes the catch. Stan, good luck with the draft. Thanks for the visit.
Appreciate it. Enjoy it, guys.
Stan Meek, Vice President of Scouting, getting ready for the Major League Draft. 2-1 here. Cubs on top. Jessica Blaylock. Jess?
Rich, we've been talking about Back to the Future a lot tonight. It actually inspired our hashtag Rewrite the Future. It's the second movie in the trilogy that predicts that the Cubs would sweep the Marlins in the World Series in 2015. So I did a little bit of research. That second movie actually came out in 1989, meaning that there were several Marlins players who had yet to be born when the movie was released. How about this? Marcelo Ozuna and Brad Hand, they were born in 1990. Christian Yelich, he was a 1991 baby, and JT Realmuto and Jose Fernandez, they were not born until 1992. But guys, I'll give Yelich credit. I asked him if he knew what a DeLorean was, and he said it's a vehicle for time travel. So I've got to at least give him a shout out for that.
I'm sure they've all kind of seen that and know somewhat the plot and the story. If you're just joining us, a little Back to the Future salute for the prediction of the Cubs beating Miami in the World Series on that show. There's Dexter Fowler, Chris Bryant, and Anthony Rizzo. Liner left. Yelich there. He makes the catch. Fighting the lights. All right, Back to the Future. Tommy, I'm sure you've seen all the Back to the Futures.
Oh, yeah.
Now the
40!
The faulty promises. Flying cars, not yet. Hoverboards, self-lacing shoes, dehydrated pizza, government-controlled water. The Jaws 19, not there yet. Thumbprint currency getting closer on the iPhone, right? With the thumbprint?
Automatic dog walker.
There he is. Doc Brown. Big hit for me. I love the show. I mean, Leah Thompson, to me, the star of that show, or the attraction for that show.
I liked it when Michael J. Fox was riding the, what was it called, a hoverboard? Like a skateboard above ground, no wheels. Well, watch out for the dump truck with manure on.
Chris Bryant up there right now. We talk about the talent, and we were just talking draft. What about the talent that's come out of Las Vegas? Joey Gallo up with the Texas Rangers. He's Las Vegas. Chris Bryant is Las Vegas. Swing and a miss. And of course, Bryce Harper, Las Vegas as well. Quite a competitive Little League at that time, I would think. Tomorrow, 6:30, South Florida Honda dealers. Get you ready for Marlins Live pregame with Craig Minervini and Jeff Conine. Tomorrow night is our big fantasy auction, 2015 version. It will be the 10th fantasy auction. Fox Sports Florida. Anthony Rizzo backs up from a fastball. There will be a Cub package in that auction tomorrow night.
It's a nice package, too.
With a little Anthony Rizzo, John Lester, and Tommy Bahama Cub themed stuff. That one pulled foul. Ball and a strike to Rizzo.
I like Tim's tweet, Back to the Future. He goes, a headline from the past would be more like Steve Bartman misses the bus and not at the game, and Luke catches the ball.
Two and one to the Cubs first base pride of Parkland. Talked about Rizzo and how well he's hit lefties this year, and he proved it in the third with a line drive double over the head of Justin Bour. That was with 2 outs. He walked back in the first. So his on-base percentage against lefties is about .550 right now. to third, and Prado sweeps it across the diamond. Brad Hand goes quickly through the fifth, halfway through in Miami. It's 2-1 Cubs. Into left field, a base hit. Brad Hand. Leadoff hit for Hand. Got emails and tweets at Fox Marlins. Email foxmarlins@gmail.com. And the hashtag rewrite the future. Any questions? Cubs, Marlins, Major League Baseball, Back to the Future.
Yeah, it was great when we had Stan Meek in the booth. Remember one of the comments he made about Brad Hand, said pretty good hitter when he was in high school too.
D. Gordon bunts, third base side. It's a beauty. The throw to first is up the line, and down the line it goes. Hand to third. That's as far as he gets. D. Gordon pulls in at second. And Miami is set up second and third, and nobody out, with Prado, Stanton, and Bohr all lined up.
That'll be a hit and then an error on the throw. This is just a perfect bunt. Really not a play for Herrera. He probably would have been best served holding on, especially from that angle. Hard to make a good throw where he had to throw it from. A perfect bunt by D. Gordon.
Herrera getting the start at third. The injury to Soler has put Bryant out in left, Herrera at third. Here's Prado now. Kyle Hendricks had been sailing along, giving up just that one run in the second. Middle infield's back. Remember, a pitcher running at third in Hand, but an athletic one nonetheless.
And if you're D. Gordon at second base, you have to keep your eye on Hand to see what he does. And you're usually alerted. I'm sure Lenny Harris at third has given him a sign letting him know if Hand's going or going to stay. But the infield's back.
Prado has been hot of late. 3 of 6 in this series. Not a guy that walks a lot. Not a guy that strikes out a lot. Stanton watching.
We'll do our best, but Vamos is a little upset. It's Twitter Tuesday. When are Rich and Tommy actually going to read tweets? Hey, we've had a lot of action in the game. We had a guest on. Hang in there, Vamos. It's a long game. We'll have time. Relax.
That one's out, and Prado walks.
I'm not going to read a tweet with Giancarlo coming up with the bases jammed.
Well, here is Stanton. He is 0 for 1 with a walk and a strikeout. And if you've been following Stanton over the last few weeks, Tommy documented and then diagrammed it his last at bat. You see Chris Bosio, Cubs pitching coach, on his way out. Stan has had trouble laying off breaking balls or off-speed stuff away. And by away, it's a ways away. And he went after one and missed it. And his at bat back in the third inning.
You know, it looks easy. You sit and watch on TV. We watch from up here. But it is something we've seen Giancarlo be able to do at the plate. And when he does do it, lay off that pitch, it accomplishes a couple of things. He'll draw more walks. Pitchers will have to adjust, and he'll just be a better hitter. It's not that he's not working on it. He does, and he'll come through. We'll see a period of time where he'll do some damage.
So it's Stanton against Hendricks. Bags loaded and nobody out. Bottom 5. The flip side of the strikeouts, 7 of his last 12 hits have been home runs. He takes a fastball down the middle for strike 1.
The difference in Hendricks is that we haven't seen him go in. A lot of pitchers will go in and then go with the stuff away. He stayed away all night.
5 strikeouts, a pair of walks. 1-1. That's out. Bases filled with Marlins. And great speed at second with D. Gordon. Cubs infield back. 2-1 coming. Catches the outside part. It's 2-2. It's a perfect pitch. Pitch number 4.
And look where he stayed with all of his pitches.
And he chases and misses. Stanton strikes out.
Of all the last few years, Rich, I think this is the worst period for a length of time that we've seen Giancarlo in this run.
Now Justin Ward. Hendricks struck Bohr out in the first and in the third. Last night Bohr was 0 for 3, all 3 strikeouts against his former organization. Never got to the big leagues with the Cubs. And he takes a strike. The changeup has been the pitch that has troubled him tonight.
Yeah, and the first pitch he saw was fastball.
Fastball backs him off the plate. Ball and strike. Now Stan can only watch. Or it is a foul ball. Just foul. James Coy, the first base umpire.
Anthony Rizzo playing over near the line. Had it been fair, he probably would have made the play.
See Bohr's numbers against righties. 1-2. Change up, and it floated outside. You got a chance to see it. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, he's seen it a few times tonight.
Two. Popped it up. Back behind third. Herrera and Castro. It's Castro who calls. Infield fly. And Kyle Hendricks, after loading the bases with nobody out, now has 2 outs, and they're still loaded.
And to make matters even worse, the base is loaded with your 3 and 4 hitter coming to the plate. And now number 5 hitter, Marcell Ozuna.
Ozuna scored Miami's only run. An infield hit in the second. He scored on the Echeverria double. Ozuna cracks it in the gap, right center. It's going to the wall. Scoring is Hands. Scoring is Gordon. Here comes Prado. He scores.
That's the big hit the Marlins have been waiting for. And I love the aggressiveness. Most hitters in this inning, Hendricks has gone first pitch fastball and gotten ahead. He wasn't going to get ahead to Ozuna. Marcell was ready for it.
Miami gets their big hit for Ozuna, his 10th double.
Well, the pitch was up too. Ozuna all over it.
And now here is Yelich. With Ozuna at second, still 2 outs. Yelich just bounced out and struck out. Hendricks misses. It's 1-0. Kyle Hendricks had shut Miami down. He's punched out 6. Yelich. It's foul. For a ball club that is desperately looking for things to go right, something has here in the 5th. Dan Jennings watching lefty Brad Hand make just his 2nd start with 3 starters on the disabled list. 3 starting pitchers on the disabled list. 4 if you count Jose Fernandez, who is about a month away from rejoining this rotation. Pitch is out. It's 2-1.
No, not only Jose, but the hopes of getting Jared Cozart back soon. Matt Latos, Henderson Alvarez.
Until that happens, the Marlins are trying to figure out how to consistently win ball games. They took 2 of 3 from Baltimore to finish off their last homestand. That was a step in the right direction. Then lost 3 to a hot Pittsburgh team in Pittsburgh. Went to New York and won 2 of 3 from a very good Mets team. And they'll find themselves here in game 2, having lost last night to the Cubs. Getting a big hit from Marcell Ozuna. David Ross, a veteran, out to talk to his young right-hander. Chris Bosio appears on for the dugout. Two coming to Yelich. He fouls it back to the screen.
Boy, Marcell Ozuna, Rich, is putting together some really nice numbers early in his career with bases loaded. 12 for 33, 8 extra base hits, 5 doubles, a triple, and a couple of home runs.
Yelich swings and misses. Hendricks gets him on a changeup, but Miami gets to Hendricks for 3. A 2-out, 3-run double. by Marcell Ozuna. And Miami has the lead back. It's 4-2. Tomorrow night, Cubs and Marlins finish off the series and this homestand, 7-10. It's a Chevron Crazy 8 Wednesday. Bring your Chevron receipt of 8 gallons of gas or more to the Marlins Park ticket office. Get your choice of an $18 Lexus Legends level ticket or a $28 home plate box ticket. Miami tonight. Marlins have reclaimed the lead, a 4-2 lead over the Cubs. Brad Hand ventures into uncharted territory this year for Hand. This is start number 2. Junior Lake opens the 6th. And Hand went 5 innings in his first start. Of course, he had been in the bullpen in relatively short relief, so just getting 5 innings from him in Pittsburgh, which he pitched quite well, is a nice plus.
You know, another nice plus would be for him to just have a nice inning and just keep that 4-2 lead.
Here's the 1-2. Numbers can be, they can tell a story or they can tell you nothing, right? Look at this ball strike ratio for Hand. I mean, that's not good.
Not where you would like it.
No, you would think he'd walked 4 or 5. He's walked 2, and he struck out 2. Junior Lake had an RBI double his last time up. He fouls it back.
They go back to 2011 for Brad Hand. He picked up his first major league win in July. 5-0 win against the Astros. 7 shutout innings, gave up just 2 hits.
By Echeverria in the gap. Ozuna picks it up. Junior Lake isn't stopping until he gets to second. He's got a leadoff double. He blistered that one. Starling Castro, Addison Russell coming up.
A couple of doubles tonight for Junior Lake. He swung the bat well. Blame a little bit to pull. He rips this ball just out of the reach of Echeverria. And with that extension, with the crash landing, tells me Etch's shoulders feeling okay.
Castro takes down low. The Mets, when the Marlins were in New York, had Cologne, Harvey, and Nice. So the Marlins saw a lefty in New York. The Cubs have not seen a lefty until, or since, May 15th. 18 days ago, they saw Jeff Locke of Pittsburgh. Then Mazzaro in Miami's bullpen. Brad Hand, his last start was his first start of the season, and Miami's first start from a lefty since last year. Where are all the lefties? Marlins will see one tomorrow night, a real good one in John Lester.
Well, it's nice, always nice, I thought, to have that lefty in your rotation. Doesn't always work out that way.
Yeah, Jennings leaning on his bench coach, Mike Goff, bench coach in Seattle. 3-0. T-Mobile game changer. Starlin Castro, one of 3 major league shortstops to hit 10 or more homers in each of his last 4 seasons. Asdrubal Cabrera, Johnny Peralta, the other 2. Over the middle, Echeverria has it. Quick flip to first in time to get Castro. Junior Lake now 90 feet away for an Addison Russell at bat. The Cubs are young, and Addison Russell is the youngest of them. He's 21 and 130 days. He's the 2nd youngest player in the National League.
Just 11 games in AAA this year before his call-up. He's hitting .318 in AAA.
Youngest player is Roberto Osuna, a reliever for Toronto. And a pitch is taken in. The Washington Nationals are playing
a doubleheader.
Yeah, against the Blue Jays. And if Bryce Harper faces Ozuna, it'll be the first time in Harper's career he's faced anybody younger than he is. That's a pop-up. And a good out to get with a runner at 3rd and 1 out. Prado holds it.
And as they say, that was a major league pop-up. So a good job by Brad Hand after the leadoff double. He's gotten a couple of outs. And the runner, Junior Lake, is still on base. He's over at 3rd.
And now he sets his sights on David Ross. You know, we talked about that with Harper last month. He'd never in minor league ball or major league ball ever faced anyone younger than he was. Well, that could change against Roberto Osuna. Liner up the middle. Gordon, did he get it? Yes, he did. D. Gordon with a nifty play, and Brad Hand pitches out of the jam. He leaves Junior Lake at 3rd, and Miami hangs on to a 2-run lead. 4-2 in Miami tonight.
There's a sad passing in the world of Major League Baseball. Last month, it was just reported a couple of days ago, Jerry Dior passed away. He was the guy who designed the Major League Baseball logo. He did it working for a company in New York City, just an afternoon's day of work. He got no extra royalties for it, no recognition even. In fact, after a few years, people were doubting that he was the guy who did it. So he wanted some recognition, and finally Major League Baseball did say yes. They honored him, in fact, in 2009. Jerry Dior, good job with that logo, and it's become an iconic logo. In fact, the NBA kind of took a little piece of that with a silhouetted logo of their own a couple of years later. Guys?
All right, thank you, Greg. JT Real Muto taps out to Kyle Hendricks as the bottom of the 6th is underway in Miami. Hendricks, the slender right-hander out of Dartmouth. He's been good this year for the Cubs. He's been better lately. Last 2 starts, he's been very, very good. Giving up just 1 run in 16 innings. A 3-run 5th. 2-out, 3-run double by Marcell Ozuna has Miami on top in this one.
I'll be honest with you, Rich. I've been going through the Twitter account, lots of tweets, but basically just a lot of statements, not questions. There's a question from Daniel. Why start Jose Urena? Why not start a bullpen pitcher? Think about that, Daniel. Does that sound very smart?
Shake yourself.
Why? And use Urena as a bullpen pitcher. Well, he's been a starter his whole career. That's why you start him.
Echeverria bounces to third.
So that was a question, but I guess not a very good one.
By the way, I've always wanted to know who. Craig had that nice hit there, as you can see, our email address and Twitter and Instagram address. Always wanted to know, was there a player that they modeled the Major League Baseball logo after? I've heard Harmon Killebrew or Pete Rose. Craig, you got any more on that?
I've heard Killebrew.
Yeah, he said that Killebrew came up. Jerry Dior said no, he did not pattern it after Harmon Killebrew, and he actually did it, guys, with magic markers, and the original colors he had were green and blue, and then he decided to go to the patriotic red, white, and blue. But he also said he had no idea how big it was until he saw it a year later on the back of the Mets jerseys in the 1969 World Series. And of all logos, the Major League Baseball logo, one of the most memorable of anything you see in sports, or maybe even outside of sports.
The NBA logo, Jerry West has always been talked about as the model. In fact, West's nickname became the logo.
I thought it was Zeke from Cabin Creek.
That too. Pitches up to Donovan Solano, who hits in Brad Hand's spot. So Hand's night is done after 6 innings and a 4-2 lead.
Well, and a job well done by Brad Hand.
It's going to be a tough play. Herrera across the diamond gets him. A 1-2-3 inning for Kyle Hendricks. Sam Dyson ready to go. He'll be called upon to pitch in the 7th. 4-2 Miami.
email and Twitter Tuesday. Well, just a heads up, if you are not following D. Gordon on Twitter and Instagram, you are missing out, because he is just as funny on social media as he is in real life. And a perfect example is the tweet that he sent out after he took a picture of his teammate Giancarlo Stanton on the plane ride home from New York. Poor Giancarlo, he was just trying to eat a Kit Kat, but D had this to say: you need to start respecting the rules. Well, obviously, you're supposed to break apart a Kit Kat bar, not just jump right in. Even Dodgers pitcher Brandon McCarthy jumped in on the action, saying, Giancarlo, just because you hit baseballs like most hit a 4-iron doesn't mean you can eat candy however you wish. We're living in a society here. Good stuff from D. Gordon, Brandon McCarthy, and Giancarlo Stanton. Yeah, come on, G. We're trying to live in a civilized society here. Rich, Tommy?
All right, Jessica, thank you. Emails and tweets tonight. We know we haven't been able to dive headfirst into a lot going on tonight. Draft preview, Back to the Future, and Sam Dyson.
Sam Dyson and Chris Coghlan will be pinch hitting for Hendricks.
Coghlan, a Marlin for a long time. Last year enjoyed a nice rebirth in Chicago. He takes a fastball out. 8 years in the Marlins organization. Told us today that his mom over in Tampa still every now and then will pop on the Marlins out of habit.
That's always nice. We appreciate that. By the way, I wondered where the Kit Kat bars went on the flight the other night. Now we know.
Dyson's 2-0 pitch. Coghlan swings and misses.
Been an enjoyable year for Chris Coghlan. You and I have both had a chance to chat with him. He's enjoyed Chicago. He's enjoyed playing for Joe Madden. And last year with the Cubs, very solid. 283 in 125 games.
Check swing, no swing, says Bill Welke. Coghlan, Rookie of the Year in Miami in 2009.
A former first-round pick. Talking a little bit of the draft tonight. The University of Mississippi.
He's had 2 healthy cuts. And it's 3-2.
Saw the shot of the on-deck hitter. Montero's on deck.
Coghlan swings, misses, lost his bat. And Sam Dyson has the first out of the 7th. Our Geico MLB moment tonight. 1986, Rod Carew retires. 19 Major League seasons, over 3,000 hits, 328 career hitter, 7 batting titles. Of course, he's in the Hall of Fame. 1991, and one of the real pioneers of videotape and studying video of his swing. He's the guy that used to travel around with the old VCRs and hook them up to the hotel TVs.
As did Tony Gwynn.
Here's Miguel Montero.
One of the great bunters of the game, too, as far as bunting for base hits. Rod Carew.
Got a bunting email that I've been sitting on for you.
See, we came full circle.
What do you think of D. Gordon bunting with 2 strikes at a critical point in the game as Mike Dunn warms up in Miami's bullpen?
I don't mind it. I think if it were another player, you may maybe think about it a little bit. But he works on his skills of bunting so much, and it's one of the few times that a third baseman will take a few steps back. And he doesn't have to drop down that perfect bunt. So, you know, I don't have too much of a problem with it. So, keep doing it, D.
Montero swinging a miss.
Change up.
Dyson at 88. Cubs carrying just a 4-man bench, and they've used 2 pinch hitters here in the 7th.
Well, first it was a good comeback, Sam Dyson, to get Chris Coghlan. And then he puts away Montero with that excellent power change.
Cubs box score. Junior Lake, both of his hits have been doubles. Anthony Rizzo and Junior Lake RBI doubles for both Chicago runs. Here is Dexter Fowler on a 2-for-3 night.
36 runs for Fowler on the year. That's third in the National League.
Fowler up the middle. Gordon backhands, quick release.
Put on a show, D. Gordon.
That brought Tommy Hutton right out of his chair. D. Gordon to Justin Bour. And it's 4-2 Miami. To Miami. Season tickets at Marlins Park in 2015. Variety of new season ticket packages, prorated full season, half season, 20-game mini plans, new 10-game packs. Plans start at just $240. Secure your seats today. 1-877-MARLINS. Go to marlins.com/2015. Changes for the Cubs. Zach Roskup will be throwing. Miguel Montero will be catching. Look at Montero. And D. Gordon takes down low.
Yeah, you have to stay heads up with Joe Madden. Chris Coghlan stays in the game. He goes to left field. And Chris Bryant comes in to play third base.
Meanwhile, Tommy Hutton has calmed down after that play from D. Gordon.
You know, I don't just get excited with home runs, big base hits. D. Gordon's put on a show tonight and came up with a beauty with a fast runner as well with Dexter Fowler.
Gordon shoots it up the middle. Castro, nice spinning play there by the Cubs shortstop.
Castro putting on a little show too. That was a nice play by Starlin Castro.
A tweet from Joy Taylor, actually. Coolest thing in the auction tomorrow night, as we looked at the nice play by Starlin Castro going to his left. What's the coolest thing in the auction for you, Tommy Hutton? I like the All-Star package, trip to the All-Star game, and you get tickets not only to the game but to everything in and around Cincinnati that has anything to do with the All-Star game, from the Futures game to the workout to the home run contest. And home run derby. Our fantasy auction is tomorrow night on Fox Sports Florida.
Well, you know I'm partial to the golf package, but I'm going to go away from that because I think one of the neat things this year is the minor league package of things that are offered of the affiliated Marlins minor league teams. I think it's a great package.
A little Cliff Floyd action there. There's a 1-1. Martin Prado. Well, that's just a couple of things you'll find tomorrow night. Unique items. Prado's not happy about the auction or not happy about the call. I would guess the call. It's 1 and 2. It all starts tomorrow night, 6:30 on Fox Sports Florida. Ross Cup down low. Now the other cool thing is the Joseph Gormley painting, which he will be painting live, that Giancarlo Stanton actually added his own personal touch to. It's the Sports Illustrated cover. Gormley's painting of Jose Fernandez last year during the auction fetched almost $9,000. Here's the 2-2. Prado pops it up, and Castro makes the catch. Prado, you can hear the outburst. Still not real happy with Sam Holbrook. Now here's Giancarlo Stanton. All right, more emails and tweets. Some Stanton batting tips, Tommy, for you.
Everybody's a batting coach.
Why won't Stanton take a half step closer to the plate when he has 2 strikes against right-handed pitching?
I'm not going to disagree with that suggestion. I think if you're Giancarlo right now, you have to make some adjustments.
Stanton has struck out twice and walked. Count is 0-2. At times it seems as if the weight of the franchise is on his shoulders, and as the Marlins have struggled in terms of wins and losses, it almost seems as if Stanton feels like it's his responsibility to pull him out of it, and that's hard to do in baseball. Stanton takes that one to right center. It is deep. Lake is back at the wall. It's gone. High fastball. Roscup put it right where Montero wanted it, and Stanton drives it out opposite field.
We saw a base hit last night, Rich, a range single into right field. It was a good sign. And against the left-hander, Giancarlo goes where it's just so tough for right-handed hitters to go deep into right center. All right, here's the target. Up. I want it up, and he moves a little bit away. There it is. I want it up. He got the pitch up, and look at Giancarlo stay on top of it. Wow.
A lot of times when a guy hits a home run, the catcher has to move his glove to track the pitch. Montero didn't move the glove. He put it exactly where Miguel Montero wanted it.
16th home run, 45 RBIs.
Justin Bour takes down low. Toyota Trend. We'll get it in a moment. Stanton exit stage left briefly. 2-0 pitch coming to Bour, who is 0 for 3. All right, here's your Toyota Trend. National League home run leaders. Todd Frazier is hot. Stanton now at 16. Harper at 18.
Harper had an RBI in the first game of their doubleheader. So that gives him 45 on the year.
What an amazing run by Stanton. 8 of his last 13 hits have been home runs. Liner up the middle, and that's where Castro was playing. Miami gets another. Giancarlo Stanton, opposite field. High fastball, no problem. That's about 410 feet, and it's 5-2 Miami. Summary.
Well, the Marlins were able to get on the board thanks to Adeiny Echeverria early in the ballgame, double driving home Marcell Ozuna. But in the third inning, the Cubs would come back and take the lead. A double by Anthony Rizzo, driving home Fowler, and then a base hit, another double. He has 2 tonight by Junior Lake. But in the 5th inning, big hit for the Marlins with 2 out, bases loaded. Marcell Ozuna finds that gap in right center, clears the bases. He's been tremendous in his young career with bases loaded. The Marlins took the lead. They got a little insurance on this opposite field 400-foot shot, home run number 16 by Giancarlo.
And Warren Henry drive of the game. Wherever you go in Miami, your advantage is at Warren Henry. Chris Bryant goes after the first pitch from Sam Dyson and fouls it back. Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, and Junior Lake.
I think Dan Jennings liked the way Dyson threw the ball in the 7th inning, just 12 pitches to have a 1-2-3 inning, couple of strikeouts. So Dyson back out there in the 8th.
Hit hard, Bohr has it.
That's a nice pick.
And he gets to the bag. Bryant 0 for 4 tonight.
Justin Bohr upset with himself the other day in New York. He had a sharply hit ball. It wasn't an easy play. They got by him. And we've seen him make some nice plays, and he picked that one.
Dan Jennings on his way out. And Sam Dyson, who has been outstanding tonight, retiring all 4 that he's faced. Kendall Toyota called to the bullpen. Here comes Mike Dunn. Miami on top in Miami tonight in the 8th inning. Chevron brings you tomorrow's starters. 6:30 for Marlins Live. It's a good one. John Lester and Dan Herron. Both ERAs in the low 3s, and both will be pitching for your viewing pleasure tomorrow night. Of course, the Fox Sports Florida Fantasy Auction tomorrow as well. It's a 3-game homestand. This 3-game series between the Marlins and the Cubs. Mike Dunn in to face Anthony Rizzo. Sam Dyson retired all 4 that he faced.
This is important, and especially so this first batter for Mike Dunn, because after Rizzo are right-handed bats. And we've talked about Rizzo's improvement against lefties. Came into this game hitting .438 against left-handers.
He had an RBI double against the lefty starter Brad Hand. His on-base percentage is up in the mid-5s now against lefties. Dunn misses out.
Nathaniel has a question, Rich, on Twitter. Is that worth a discussion? If everybody comes back healthy, Jose Fernandez, the rest of the pitchers, Michael Morse, can the Marlins actually make a run at a wild card or even 500?
Well, a lot has to happen between now and Jose walking in the door, right? I mean, don't the Marlins have to make up some ground? They can't.
I think you have to focus. Putting together winning series, keep climbing, hopefully get to 500. If you get to 500, then you can start thinking of some of those other things.
So they're 12 under right now, 20 and 32. There's some
That's the
guys.
second time that Rizzo's gone down to that back knee.
Andrew Jones in his heyday in Atlanta used to drop down every now and then.
Good one.
He went down and ripped one to right. Adrian Beltre, the truck adding an Adrian Beltre into that. Rizzo blasts it right center field. Ozuna and Stanton. Stanton calls. Stanton catches.
It's a big ballpark. You think about the ball Stanton hit. I was thinking about at Wrigley. It's about 360, 365 into right center in that gap. Stanton hit it about 405 because 392 to the wall.
And it just got out.
So a different game for the Cubs playing here than when they're at home at Wrigley.
So Dunn gets the out. Here's Junior Lake.
And a big out for Mike Dunn to get.
Still a bit odd to see Joe Madden in the Cubs cap and colors, having watched him for so long across the state in St. Pete. Counts 0-2. But for a franchise, Cubs, that hasn't had a winning season since 2009, for a guy that worked absolute magic with the Rays, I mean, a franchise that had sniffed any sort of success before he arrived, to turn them into a 4-time postseason and a World Series team, nothing short of a miracle.
Well, a lot of years managing in the minors, coaching 10 years with Mike Scioscia and the Angels.
Big swing and a miss by Junior Lake. Mike Dunn finishes off the 8th. Miami at home and on top of the Cubs, 5-2.
3-2 ball game in the bottom of the 8th. Well, now is the part of the broadcast where we show you the greatest tweet of all time. It comes from Brian, and Brian, this is my advice to you. Retire from social media now, because you're not going to top this. It's our own Rich Waltz as Marty McFly and Tommy Hutton as Doc. Every time I look at this picture, it just continues to get better and better, from the two of you guys in it to Biff in the background. I love this picture so much, I might even print it out and put it up in my own personal home.
That's call me Calvin, okay? Call me Calvin.
Jess, we need you to print that out so we can put it up here in the booth.
I will print out multiple copies of that picture. Don't you worry.
Edwin Jackson is in the Cubs bullpen. See that ERA at 3.5. Cubs still owe him quite a lot of money this year and next year, $13 million next year. And the hope, I guess, is either he pitches well enough to get back to the rotation, or pitches well enough that someone might need him other than the Cubs.
Yeah, all appearances this year for Jackson have been out of the bullpen.
AJ Ramos is up in Miami's bullpen. Big hit of the night for this man at the plate, Marcell Ozuna. Up the middle, Castro scrambling on a hop. That's a beauty of a play.
Boy, it is. I mean, he's seen D. Gordon make some plays at Danny Echeverria, and even though he's made 12 errors this year, he's made a couple of dandies the last 2 innings. From his knees, he probably by design threw it over on one hop, but great balance. Boy, he had Ozuna by a few steps too.
A fastball and a strike to Christian Yelich. 0 for 3 is Yelich. 9-game hit streak has not been extended. Flips that one to left. Coghlan makes the catch. 2 quick outs for Edwin Jackson here in the 8th. MLB.TV Premium is the #1 live streaming sports service, and it celebrates 13 years. Even if you're on South Beach like that, racing around with all your handheld devices or your Apple Watch or whatever, you can watch Major League Baseball. You get you a free At Bat 15 subscription. Visit MLB.TV for details. And don't forget to take your pitch tracking widget with you wherever you go. Widget folds up, fits in the back pocket. Jackson, a 1-2-3-8. AJ Ramos comes in for Miami, tries to save the ball game as the Marlins have a 3-run lead over the Cubs. It's brought to you by your South Florida Honda dealers. by Florida Coast Equipment, Florida's largest Kubota dealer. Visit us at FloridaCoastEQ.com. In Miami tonight, a 5-2 lead into the top of the ninth. A.J. Ramos, who has taken over the closer's role. Steve Cishek, in case you didn't hear the news, has been sent to Double-A to try to iron out his mechanics. And in his place, A.J. Ramos enters.
Not only in his place since he's taken over the closer role, but really all year for A.J. Ramos, he's been steady and consistent. Some minuscule numbers, some great numbers he's posted this year.
Starlin Castro. And you got Addison Russell. And a strike to Castro. The pitcher spot is due up third. That was David Ross's old spot. Good breaking ball from Ramos, who has a starting pitcher's repertoire.
Yes, he does. It's not the type of closer that you see power fastballs. And he's not even the fastball slider guy. He has a good slider. He'll throw curve. He's got a changeup.
Bouncer up there. It's 1-2. Castro's been brilliant in the field tonight. He's 0 for 2 at the plate with a walk. Saw on A.J. Ramos' stat line 4 of 6 in save opportunities. The 2 that he wasn't able to convert were not ninth inning opportunities. Bouncer into left and a base hit for Starlin Castro. So the young infielder Addison Russell comes to the plate.
And we talked about these two clubs with 4 men on the bench. Makes things interesting as the game moves on.
Yeah, and on deck, the guy that just joined the ball club.
Yeah, that's an addition.
Before the game, a swing and a miss. As a Russell behind the count, 0-1. Matt Caesar is on deck. Addison Russell an 0 for 3. Brad Hand the starter in this one, and he's in line for the win. Hand was in line for the win in Pittsburgh before the Pirates rallied for 5 late. Took the Marlins down 5-2. 6 innings, 2 runs for Hand. Sam Dyson, Mike Dunn, and now Ramos. Count 3-1. Count full now, 3-2. He walked him. And the Cubs here in the ninth will bring the tying run to the plate. A visit from Real Muto. And Jennings watching from Miami's dugout.
Tell you what, that was a very patient take by Addison Russell, the 21-year-old.
Andre Rienzo in Miami's bullpen. Matt Caesar, 25-year-old out of Cape May, New Jersey. And Caesar takes in.
Got a battle in the stands now between Marlins fans and Cubs fans, who are certainly well represented.
With foul back. Caesar was a great college football player, was a wide receiver at Villanova. And a standout baseball player as well. Also quarterback the Wildcat offense. Fifth-round pick, 2010. In a big spot here. 1-1. Almost gets a strike, and it's 1-2.
All of a sudden, A.J. Ramos has gone to that breaking ball. He's thrown a couple of really good ones to Caesar.
Caesar got to the big leagues at the end of last year. 1-2 coming. He stays alive. Single, a walk. And now Caesar sitting on a 1-2 count. You've got Coughlin and then Montero, a pair of left-handed bats to follow. Got him. Ramos gets the first out.
He saw a weakness. He stayed with it. Stayed off speed and breaking pitches to Caesar and made some good ones. That was the changeup. Saw the grip. That's another thing that AJ is not afraid to use the changeup to righties and lefties.
Now Coughlin. Chris Coughlin came into the ballgame, struck out in the 7th. Joe Madden has used everybody but Jorge Soler.
Yeah, it's interesting. He's made the moves, and he has matchups in his favor as he sees his team in the 9th inning. He's got the lefty Coughlin and the lefty Montero on deck, who didn't start the game. They both came in as pinch hitters.
Castro at second, Russell's at first. Montero watches. 1-1 to Coughlin. Check swing. And no check. The home plate umpire says he did swing. One and two. Hit hard into right field, a base hit. Holding third is Castro. Stands, throws to second. They got him. Addison Russell, the rookie, a big turn, and Stanton threw behind him. Echeverria athletic enough to make the catch and the tag, and a big out at second.
A couple of things to think about here. I think Giancarlo went ahead and threw to second, maybe assuming that the runner was going to be sent home. Either way, it turned out to be a great throw. Heads up play, heads up that Echeverria was there and was able to put the tag on the young second baseman, Addison Russell.
And I think the Cubs are going to challenge here. they are. Cubs are going to roll the dice and challenge. I guess it's not much of a roll of the dice if there's 2 outs in the 9th inning. And so we'll wait and watch ourselves.
Now, Castro was the runner at second base. He was being held by Gary Jones, the third base coach. Russell took a big turn because he's not sure if Castro is going to be sent home.
That was quick.
Didn't take long.
He's out.
He's out.
So here's Montero. Still 5-2. Call is confirmed. I guess that's what I meant by roll the dice. It didn't look like he was safe. It looked pretty cut and dry.
Ball's there. He's got a lot of places to tag him, and the hand's still 1.5 feet from the bag. But why not if you're mad in the 9th inning?
Now Montero struck out in his only at bat, that in the 7th. Ramos has really had to work in this one. 21 pitches into the 9th inning. Dexter Fowler is on deck. 1-1 coming. Montero didn't like it, and he had reason not to. AJ Ramos, 1-2. The dirt.
Nice crowd tonight. They've been into this game. It's been an exciting game. A lot of tremendous defensive plays on both sides.
It's out. AJ Ramos of Texas Tech coming in Miami's organization. Trained as a closer and was a good minor league closer. Arrived in the big leagues. Has been in that 7th, 8th inning role since. But with Steve Cishek's struggles, Ramos has taken the ball and has looked good in the 9th inning. This one a bit of a wobble. 3-2 coming, and it's fouled back. Chance to even the series with the Cubs. Game 3 tomorrow night. Coughlin be moving again from first. Castro still at third. Montero swings and misses. Ball game, and Miami wins it. Ramos, somewhat of a struggle, but he saves it for Brad Hands. Marcelo Zuna with a big 3-run double gave Miami the lead. 5-2 the final. And for a ball club just trying to get things pointed in the right direction, a win here. And a 3-game series after 2 is even at a game apiece.
Tell you what, there have been many, and over the last couple of weeks, you can just see a good feeling down there, a good win for this ball club tonight, some clutch hitting and some tremendous defense.
And Marlins Live is next.